Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for responding to the joint call of 5 member states, namely United Kingdom, Denmark, France, Slovenia, and my own country, Greece, for an urgent briefing on the humanitarian situation in Gaza. I would also like to thank our briefers, Under-Secretary General Tom Fletcher and Executive Director of UNICEF, Mrs. Catherine Russell, for their briefings. Mr. President, a year and a half into this conflict, a severe humanitarian crisis has taken hold of the entire Gaza Strip. The entire population of Gaza, half of whom are children, is facing conditions of unimaginable distress, displaced, unsafe, deprived of access to basic means of survival. They struggle every day to make it to the next. We continue to urge Israel to allow and facilitate the safe, unconditional, massive and unhindered delivery of humanitarian aid at scale and to restore full access to electricity and water. The population in need must be given safe access to humanitarian aid and care, while the safety and security of humanitarian workers must be respected. Humanitarian aid must never be politicized or used as a means of pressure. We repeat our position that any humanitarian plan must adhere to the core principles of international humanitarian law, cover all parts of Gaza, and support the existing humanitarian operation within the Strip. It is clear that Israeli GHF plan falls short of that and has led to increased fatalities. There is, however, a glimmer of hope. We welcome the agreement reached between Israel and the European Union on scaling up humanitarian aid to the people in Gaza. We expect that the agreed steps are implemented urgently so as to substantially increase the daily trucks of food and non-food items and result in opening of more crossings in the southern and northern part of Gaza. It is beyond doubt that this goal cannot be achieved without the valuable expertise of the UN, and UNRWA's role remains pivotal and indispensable. At the same time, the development highlights the need for constructive engagement with Israel. Furthermore, as High Representative of the European Union, Ms. Kallas, has stated, all measures should be taken to ensure that the increased humanitarian aid benefits directly the Gazan population and it is not diverted by Hamas. Mr. President, while efforts led by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States to secure a deal for a much-needed ceasefire are ongoing, we do not forget that hostages continue to suffer, being held in captivity by Hamas for 19 months already. Having repeatedly condemned the October 7 terrorist attacks and the ongoing detention and inhumane treatment of hostages, we reiterate our demand for the immediate and unconditional release, and we deplore the refusal of Hamas to hand them over. Hamas remains an obstacle to peace. Mr. President, while conditions in Gaza remains dire, the situation is alarming in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. We condemn the escalation of violence there, following the continued settler violence, the expansion of illegal settlements, and Israel's military operation. The repeated attacks against Taibeh, one of the Christian majority villages in the West Bank, are very disturbing. Settlement expansion is contrary to international law and the relevant Security Council resolution, and seriously undermines prospects for a two-state solution. We look forward to the upcoming conference under the co-chairmanship of France and Saudi Arabia to be resumed later this month, so as to bring new impetus to the political process, given that the Palestinian issue remains central for regional as well as world security stability. In this spirit, Greece stands ready to engage towards moving the Arab plan forward, as presented by Egypt, and further develop it where necessary. It is a constructive proposal for planning the day after in Gaza, where an empowered and reformed Palestinian Authority will be capable of exerting effective governments in Gaza and the West Bank without any government or security role for Hamas and without any forced displacement for the Palestinians. Mr. President, in closing, let me stress that there is no military solution for Gaza. All sides must now harness the necessary political courage to agree to a ceasefire and end the war and pave the way for a political process towards two states living side by side in peace and security. I thank you.
Thanking the representative of Greece for the statement, I now give the floor to the